What is going on, YouTube? Hopefully you're doing well. Today we have an awesome video that's going to be bananas. In all seriousness, we're going to talk about calorie tracking, which can be one of the most important things in terms of hitting your goals, because this is where a lot of people make mistakes. They don't track their calories, they don't know how much they're eating, they get frustrated with their results, and they're about to punch a fucking hole in their wall, and then they're like, what the fuck is going on? I quit. It's almost like your bank account, right? You keep track of your expenses, you keep track of how much money is coming in so that you can balance it out, so you can make sure that you're not in debt, you can make sure that you're paying off your bills, that you can save money. Same thing with tracking calories. You're keeping track of how much food is coming in, how much food is coming out. Now, I once heard that calorie deficit was a myth. Some angry soul once told me that a calorie deficit was a myth. Whatever the fuck that means. Almost like flat earth or unicorns. What I say to that is, tell me you don't know what a calorie is, or even a calorie deficit, without telling me you don't know what a calorie deficit is. So first, let's describe what exactly a calorie is. Calorie is simply a unit of measurement that determines how much energy something has. So food has calories, it has energy. Our body burns calories, it burns energy. It's literally, as I drop my marker, there we go. It's literally just a unit of energy. So you might be wondering, Bob, but dude, this person lost this much weight from X program. This person lost this much weight from X diet. And to that, yeah, they probably did. But it's not the diet. It's not some magical diet. It's not like some fairy came and sprinkled a magical diet fairy dust on them. It's like, hey, you're gonna lose weight now. So no, what do you think that did? It put them in a calorie deficit because they were eating less than they were burning. So remember that. Calories are king. There's a lot of things that matter, but number one, calories are king, and tracking them is going to help you make better progress. If you don't track them, yeah, you can still make progress. However, you're more likely to make slower progress. You're more likely to plateau because even if you don't count calories, calories still always count. And to be honest with you, we're absolute dog shit at estimating portions, which you'll see here in a second when I show you exactly how to measure and weigh out your food. So let's kind of dive in on how to actually calculate how much you should be eating before we go into how to measure and weigh out your food. So remember, the first most important thing is calories, how much you eat per day. So that's what we're gonna calculate first. And to do that, one of the best and simplest ways is just taking your goal body weight, multiplying it by 12. That simple. Yes, there's a bunch of formulas online that you can use, and those are great too, but why not just keep it super simple and just find an estimate, because that's really all it is, just an estimate on how much you should be eating per day for your body. Now you also may be wondering, Bob, holy shit, what should I do for my goal body weight? Oh my God. You're overthinking it. Don't overthink it. Just pick a number, and it's gonna likely put you in a calorie deficit so you can start making progress. If you have a lot of weight to lose, you can do it in increments, like 20-pound increments, so that you can allow yourself a little bit more calories. It can be a little bit more sustainable progress, and you can kind of adjust as you kind of get closer to those goals. Or if you're just like, hey, I want to just go straight for my goal body weight that I have, again, there's no right or wrong answer there, then you can pick that number and you might be eating a little bit less and progress might be a little bit quicker. So again, like there's no right or wrong answer here. Just do what you want to do and work and what you feel most comfortable with. So for example, I'm just gonna do 150 times 12 equals, I'm terrible at math, so we're gonna figure this out. I think it's about 1,800 calories. And you might be like, holy shit, I can eat that much? Yes, you can eat that much and still lose weight, because that's the key. You want to be able to eat as much as you can while still being able to lose weight. Because remember, this is all about sustainability. We're not in a scarcity mindset. We are in an abundance mindset, right? Now, you can't just eat however much you want, but you can eat more so that you're fulfilled, you're satisfied, you're not having a bunch of cravings. As I drop my pen again, you're not having a bunch of hunger and starving and ready to kill somebody. No, like you're gonna be feeling good. So it would be 1,800 calories. And what I like to do, I actually like to put a range on it of plus or minus 100s. My calorie range would be about 1,700 to 1,900. If you really wanted to, you could do this bigger. You could do 1,600 to 2,000. There's really no right or wrong answer. As long as you just consistently hit this calorie number in that range, you're gonna get results. Number 2 is going to be your protein, because protein is just very, very important. It's very important for your health. It's gonna help keep you full while in a calorie deficit. It's going to help build those strong muscles, and it's gonna help keep your metabolism elevated, which who doesn't want that, right? So protein, protein, protein. And here, kind of the same thing. You're gonna take your goal body weight and multiply that by 1. If I did 150 times 1, for all you math geniuses out there, what would that equal? 150 grams. So technically, we could stop here if we wanted to, because calories and protein right now is all you need to track. Because again, calories are going to determine how much you need to eat. Protein is essential to eat and get through diet, so you can, again, build and retain muscle, keep your metabolism boosted, and help keep you full. Another one that I really like to track is fiber, because number 1 is very good for you. Number 2, it's gonna help you take some nice poops, which you can't complain about that. And it's also gonna be like protein, it's gonna help keep you full. And if you eat a lot of high fiber foods, well, first, what are high fiber foods? They're mostly whole nutrient dense foods. So it's gonna help you eat more whole foods. And rather than thinking of, oh my God, I have to only eat this many calories, if you focus mostly on protein and fiber, it's more of an abundance mindset like we talked about before, because this is a minimum. 150 grams is a minimum. 25 to 35 grams for women, 35 to 45 grams for men is a minimum. And if you start to think like that, like, oh shit, if I just hit my protein and my fiber, we're gonna be good. And as a byproduct, you're going to most likely be in a calorie deficit because you're gonna be eating less from eating more of these foods. So that's a little tip for you. Focus on protein and fiber to help hit your calorie goals and help improve your health. Now, in terms of carbs and fats, you 100% can still track them if you want to keep track of it. You don't need to, but if you want to, you can finish it out with about 0.3 to 0.5 grams times your body weight. That's gonna be based off your preference, because fats are essential. You do need them for your health, for your healthy hormones. So if you want to also track fats, that's a possibility. Again, you don't need to. And then carbs are gonna be whatever is left. All right, now that we went over why and how to calculate your calories, let's actually dive in to an example right now. We're gonna talk about how to weigh your food properly and how to read a nutrition label. And again, this is just so you can be as accurate as possible. You can actually learn what proper portion sizes look like, and so you can get the best results possible. Because you don't need all this stuff. But again, if you don't know how much you're eating, how do you know if you're gonna be making progress then? So first things first, what I recommend is buying a food scale. That way you can actually weigh your food. You could use something like measuring cups or measuring spoons. The problem with this is, which you'll see in a second, is this measures the volume of the food. The food scale measures the actual weight. So the food scale is gonna be a little bit more accurate versus the measuring cups, because this is pretty subjective. And as you're gonna see, you can pack this in with whatever you're weighing. You can kind of like pack it in, you can overfill it. So like my 1/2 cup of whatever I'm using might be different than your 1/2 cup. But when we use a food scale, we know, okay, hey, it's gonna be around 30 grams. It's gonna be around 40 grams versus 1/2 cup, which is a little bit more subjective. There's gonna be 2 ways that I'm gonna show you how to use this food scale to measure out your oats, to measure out your peanut butter, and then I'm also gonna show you the nutrition label right now. Okay, so as you can see, we have 2 nutrition labels right here. So for the oats, we have a bunch of shit that's on this nutrition label that honestly doesn't really mean too much. So we're gonna focus on a few things here. So you're gonna notice at the top, there's a thing called a serving size. That is how much a serving size is. So that's how many calories, okay, one of those servings is gonna be. So a serving size for these oats is 1/2 cup or 40 grams. Now remember, we're gonna wanna use the grams, or sometimes this will say ounces, to measure out the weight of the food versus the volume, which is the cup. Now, if you have to use the cup, it's better than nothing. And over time, the more you do this, you're gonna get more accurate. But for now, we're just gonna start with the grams and using a food scale. And then next is gonna be the calories. And obviously this is how many calories it contains. And if you have 40 grams of oats, it's gonna be 150 calories. If you have 80 grams of oats, that's gonna be 300 calories. And if you use an app, that's gonna track all this for you, so it's super simple. The next thing that we can kind of look at is going to be your protein. We can also look at fiber. So oats are a really good source of fiber. That's very good for your health and keeping you full. And then those are like the three main things. From there, we can also look at total carb content as well as total fat content. But to keep it simple, right now, just for this video, I wanna focus on the serving size and the calories. So you're gonna turn your food scale on. Don't wanna forget to turn that on, that wouldn't be good. And notice when I place a plate on it or whatever I place on it, it's gonna put a weight on that. We wanna make sure we zero that out so that we take that number off. Because if you include the weight of the plate or whatever you have, that's gonna throw the measurement off and it's not gonna be accurate, okay? So zeroing out that, we're gonna start with the oats for now. And again, the oats are 40 grams. So you can simply start pouring them on until it says around 40 grams. Okay, good enough. Again, remember, you're not gonna be 100% perfect. That's okay. As long as we're just around the measurement, that's what matters most. So if you're not perfect, don't freak out, just get as close as you can. So that's 40 grams. Now, here's the interesting thing. Let's take this measuring cup right here, and let's take a big scoop out of the oatmeal. Now remember, it says that a serving size is also 1/2 cup. This is 1/2 cup, but is it gonna be 40 grams? Remember, I told you volume is different than weight, so let's kind of measure this out and see if it's 40 grams. 50 grams, so that's 10 more grams. So that's gonna be more calories than we accounted for. And as you can see, that measurement was off. And if you do this a few times a day using these cups, you're gonna be eating more calories than you think, which can throw off your numbers and keep you frustrated. Peanut butter, this is another big one. You'll notice 2 tablespoons, 33 grams. So I'm gonna show you again why measuring tablespoons might not be the best option, especially for something like peanut butter that is very high in calories and adds up really quick. So this is 1 tablespoon, and 1 tablespoon should be about 16 to 17 grams. But as you can see, that's almost 1 serving, 28 grams for that peanut butter, just from that 1 tablespoon. Because remember, I was measuring it with the volume from the tablespoon, not the actual weight. So actually what I like to do is I actually like to start with the peanut butter on the food scale. That way you can take it out of the jar and you don't have to worry about putting more in, taking more out. You can just see after you scoop it out, there's gonna be a minus sign here, and that's gonna tell you how many grams you're taking out. So it's almost like the reverse. So I'm gonna scoop out 33 grams. Okay, so I scoop this out, and as you can see, there's a negative sign. So it's a little bit over again, but again, that's okay if it's like 1 gram over, not the biggest deal. And that's how I like to take stuff out of jars or liquids. Just a little bit easier there, that way you don't have to keep putting stuff in, taking stuff out, and all that kind of stuff. And that is going to be how you measure and weigh out your food. Okay, now that you know how to measure out your food and everything, and you're ready to go, you're ready to hit it hard, ready to go track your calories, ready to start your journey and crush it, let's go over a few common mistakes that I've seen clients make, but most importantly, that I've kind of made myself so that you don't have to make them. Number 1, eating back calories burned through exercise. And yes, that's a fire. It looks like a bear paw for whatever reason, but that's just as good as I can do. The problem is a lot of these tracking apps will give you how many calories you burn through exercise, and it will add it back into your total daily amount. So for example, if you have a goal of 2,000 calories, you burn 500 calories, technically you'll be allowed to eat 2,500 calories. Now, the problem with this is those calories burned aren't very accurate at all. There's actually been research to show that it can be up to 90% accurate, which is just fucking insane. But we'll just keep it simple and just say, let's just say it's 50% accurate. So now you ate an extra 500 calories, when in reality you only burned 250 calories because you thought you burned 500. So now you just took yourself out of a deficit. And if you do this over time, yeah, you're going to be frustrated because you're not going to be seeing results. And this could be the reason why you're not seeing results. So only focus on calories eaten. We don't care about calories burned through exercise because it's not accurate. We want to just focus on how much you're eating and if you're staying consistent with hitting your numbers. Number 2, not weighing your food. We just talked about this. And to be honest with you, this is a big, big reason, as I have a really bad back itch, man. This is a really big reason why a lot of people don't see the results that they want, something I used to do all the time. They don't weigh and measure out their food. They eyeball it, they say, oh, this looks like 2 tablespoons, which you've seen where dogs should at, or hey, this looks like 1/4 cup, and in reality, it's like double the amount. So they're actually eating double than they think they are. We're dog shit. They've done a bunch of studies on this. We're not good at estimating portion sizes. No, even people who have been tracking for a while have been found to not be that accurate at estimating portion sizes. But I also want to say that, dude, you're not going to be perfect, and that's okay. But I'd rather you be a little bit more consistently accurate than not accurate at all. It's way better than nothing. So again, don't get so like OCD where it's like I have to be on the gram exactly. Like even if it says like 0.1 above, I'm not accurate. It's like, dude, no, just get in like, try to get in 1 gram of each measurement and you're going to be good. You don't need to be exactly on point. Remember, this is just a sustainability thing. And we want to just try to be accurate and build some awareness around how much we're eating. So if you're not weighing or measuring your food, do so now. Number 3 is not planning or pre-tracking your food. This is a big one. When I was big into my fitness journey, and I used to track calories to a T every single day, I was very regimented. I would eat and stick to the same routine, which that's a huge tip that you should do. At least eat some of the same meals per day to help you stay on track. If you're constantly switching things up, you're setting yourself up for failure. Try to at least eat some of the same meals. Now, as I go off track, but anyways, I didn't really ever plan because I was a college student. I didn't have a job. I was living at home. So I was able to just go throughout my day and eat kind of the same meals. However, with clients, what I've noticed is the people who don't plan and who don't pre-track, or at least plan, are the ones who aren't as consistent and don't see as good results versus the ones who actually plan out their week, plan out their day, pre-track their calories so they know exactly what they're eating when they're eating it the next day, are the ones that are going to stay on track the most and the ones that get the best results. So again, you don't have to like meal prep. You don't have to do any of this crazy stuff if you don't want, but you should at least be planning it out, right? So you should at least have an idea of, hey, like I'm going to be eating around these times each day, right? Again, like maybe it's 1 to 2, or maybe it's 8 to 9, whatever the case may be. Tomorrow, I'm going to be eating this for breakfast. Tomorrow, when I go to work, I'm going to be going out to X place. Hey, what should I get? Let me look at the menu so I know exactly what I'm getting. Versus if you just go through the day, you go through the motions. Number 1, a big thing is you're just going to forget to eat, and then you're going to be really hungry at night. Happens all the time because you're busy, right? But if you plan it out and you set a reminder, hey, I have to eat at 2 to 3, you're going to eat that food. And whatever that involves. Again, maybe that's setting a reminder on your phone. Maybe that is packing a meal for lunch, whatever it may be. But having a plan, right? I had a client who, when we first started, she wanted to have chocolate every night. So she pre-tracked her chocolate to fit it in her calories, but it was planned. So plan your food, plan your calories, plan your meals, plan where you're going to eat them. And it's going to help you stay that much more consistent and get that much better results. Number 4 is a big one, weekends. For whatever reason, some people think that weekends just don't count. It's like, hey, like the weekends come, calories don't count, so we're just gonna throw away all our progress throughout the week. And it always makes me laugh because it's like, well, does money count on the weekends? Yeah. So calories count. There's no magical thing that's like, hey, calories don't count. It's the weekend. Your body isn't like, it's the weekend. We're not gonna count calories. This is where a lot of people mess up. The weekends can account for up to 40% of your week. Think about it. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday you go out for drinks. Saturday you're drinking all day, or you go out to eat multiple times. Sunday you do whatever you do. Those add up, and you could very well ruin your progress that you had throughout the week by not tracking your weekends. So, number one, make sure you're tracking your food that you eat and drinks that you drink on the weekends. It's very important. Number two, plan out your weekends because your routine's going to be a little bit different. So if you don't plan it out, you're less likely to stay on track because things are going to be all over the place. So plan out your weekends. At the very least, start your day off with a healthy breakfast. And if you go out to eat, or maybe you have a few drinks, how many drinks are you going to have? Cool, I'm going to have 2 drinks. I'm going to pre-track it. That way you stay on track. Lastly, number 5, tastes, bites, licks, dressings, sauces. These are the things that add up throughout the day. So like if you're cooking for a spouse, you're cooking for your kid, you taste the recipe, make sure it tastes good, or maybe your kid doesn't finish whatever they eat, so you eat the rest of it. Maybe you just eat a chip or a cookie here and there. These little taste bites and licks over time that contain calories add up throughout the day. So not to say that not to do it, but plan it out. If you notice that you're a grazer and you do this, number one, it's good to build the awareness and just realize that you're doing it and try to be a little bit more mindful so that you don't do it unmindfully. But a tip that you can do is if you notice you do this, just add 200 calories into your day so that you already have that 200 calories taken out. You should be tracking everything you put in your mouth that contains calories at least at the beginning. And especially if you're not seeing any results, because these do add up. So track everything. And also the dressings and sauces, yes, those contain calories. So if you put a sauce on your chicken or your meat, or you put a dressing on your salad or something else, make sure, number one, you're weighing it out. Number two, you are tracking it. That is a big problem that I see all the time. People won't track like the dressings. That can be hundreds of calories that you're not keeping track of. So make sure you're tracking everything that goes in your mouth should be tracked, at least at the beginning, until you can build some awareness and build a routine and start getting some results. But these are the 5 biggest mistakes that I see, and I don't want you to make them either. One thing I want you to remember, you're not going to be perfect, and that is okay. It's just to build some awareness, to be accurate, so that you can get the best results and build the healthy habits you need to sustain this long term. Calorie tracking is not obsessive. It's only obsessive if you make it obsessive and freak out about it. Just have to accept, hey, I'm not going to be fully accurate, and that's okay. But it's better than nothing. I'm trying my best. And as I do this more, I'm going to get better. And this is essentially like a tool. Like this is your study guide to get proficient at learning proper portion sizes, eating a correct amount for your body, not overeating and not being mindless. So view calorie tracking as a tool so that you don't ever really have to track again unless you want to. Okay, that is the video for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully now you know how to track calories, you're set up, you're ready to kick some ass, and just ready to dominate your journey. If you liked that video, please leave a like, hit that subscribe button. Any questions, let me know. Emails can be dropped into the link below. And until next time, go kick some ass.